We couldn't save the General, but at least we helped the Padawan escape.
Relax. This won't hurt a bit.
If there was ever a top contender for episode of the season, this was without a doubt one of them. The weight, the emotion, the gravitas that this installment possesses is something akin to Rebels. I truly cannot remember feeling more emotionally invested in an episode of Bad Batch than in this particular one. When you consider it has a beloved returning character with his voice actor returning for the role,
Comedy.
and it brings the idea of a horror movie character into Star Wars for a brief moment from someone so beloved.
Fuck.
Before I get too entrenched in my thoughts regarding this one, however, allow me to break it down real quick. We open on the Batchers making an escape after stealing a rather exotic looking animal that Omega names Ruby. They manage to escape and return to Ord Mantell, where they hand Ruby off to Sid and collect themselves for a moment. This is where we get an idea of the connection Omega and Wrecker have when they have an after-mission celebration eating Mantell mix, which is apparently something that you can eat at Galaxy's Edge, which I'm pretty sure is just popcorn. Hunter allows them to wander off for a while, whilst him, Echo and Tech get the credits for their work, only to be shortchanged as Sid reveals that there is an abundance of expenses to hosting their ship, providing their supplies, and the copious amounts of Mantell mix that Wrecker keeps putting on Sid.
You fool.
After a few cutbacks to a figure wearing a cloak in the bar, the figure is accosted by two delinquents inside and they fire off a warning shot to be left alone. As the Batchers come out to investigate, it's then revealed to be Captain Rex. Cut to a little while later, where we discover that Rex is considered deceased in the eyes of the Empire. He informs them that he's been searching for more of his brothers that need his help. He's introduced to Omega in a heartwarming scene, but then realises Wrecker's ailment with the chip, and becomes defensive, almost drawing his sidearm on them.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Acknowledging this concern, Hunter agrees to get their chips removed for the safety of themselves and, more importantly, Omega. Sometime later we find out where Rex has chose to meet them, where the Batch are brought to Bracca, the world in which we begin the journey for Cal Kestis in Jedi Fallen Order. Rex informs them that they have to remain hidden due to the Scrappers Guild working with the Empire, and after a few hairy encounters they traverse a broken down Republic cruiser, as Rex's limited knowledge of removing the chips stems from his being taken out on board one in the final season of Clone Wars, so he believes this is the best place to do it. They make it to the medical bay on board, but Wrecker becomes increasingly more distressed, and after some background chatter starts to reference Order 66. This sends him into overdrive, and the Winter Soldier awakens inside him, and he succumbs to the programming, almost choking out Tech, shooting Rex, stunning Echo, and knocking out Hunter.
Wow, cool! Wait a minute! The fuck?
Omega is then quickly pursued by him in a terrifying ordeal that almost saw Wrecker commit murder against a child. Rex comes in at the last second and stuns Wrecker.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
They manage to get Wrecker's chip out, and after a moment where it seemed he wasn't going to make it, he is greeted by his brothers and sister with joy, and the rest of them begin to remove theirs. Wrecker takes a moment to apologise to Omega for almost killing her, but she forgives him, and drawing back to the opening minutes of the episode, showing that nothing has changed in their relationship, she shares a little of her Mantell mix with him, reaffirming their loyalty to each other.
It's so beautiful.
As we close out, Rex bids farewell to the Batch and Hunter for now and says that he's going to find more of their brothers, but Hunter says if he needs them, then get in touch. We close on a group of scrappers witnessing this from a distance, and we are left wondering for another week what's going to happen. I adore this episode for a variety of reasons. Firstly, the camaraderie with this group is something special when you consider that the 5 of them all share the same face and blood, so you wouldn't have thought there'd be much to delve into. But the team writing the show have proven that they know how to milk it in the best way. Secondly, the return of Rex. It's bizarre to say this, but to see a cameo from a clone become such a big deal is a testament to the hard work Filoni and co have put in over the years to build up these characters and make them as special as they are, and we are seeing its effects truly pay off now. especially with Commander Cody being revealed in the Season 2 trailer for Bad Batch. Audiences went ballistic over that, and want to know more about the whereabouts of various troopers out the back of the series. The Clone Wars did the heavy lifting in this case and turned a nameless, faceless CGI army from 2 movies with less than 20 minutes of screen time into the heart of the prequels in a lot of ways, and now we get excited for clones when they pop up. Thirdly is Wrecker. I think most of the audience knew how this was going to end with Wrecker. They weren't going to kill him off, certainly not one of the stars, just 7 episodes into their own spin-off, and in such a way that would enrage fans to the point they'd probably boycott them. But they got you believing that it could happen for a moment. For the lovable brute that he is, they succeeded in turning him into an unstoppable monster for 5 minutes. I do imagine that they had to temper expectations for themselves somewhat when writing this, in the instance of keeping it fair and friendly for kids, but imagine what Wrecker would be capable of if the writers didn't have these limitations. The mention of 5s very briefly in this one was nice to acknowledge, though a little quick for some. I imagine that's a topic that Rex would have wanted to avoid discussing with Echo, considering he had 5s die in his arms. But however brief a mention it was at least good to have that acknowledgement. The use of lighting and smoke effects really helped with the atmosphere and the looming tension of this one, especially in the final moments inside the cruiser, where you were brought back to the Clone Wars' final arc, witnessing Rex and Ahsoka having to take out the troopers, and Maul's rampage. The score was solid in this as well, especially its limited use during Wrecker's outburst, where it felt like the air had been sucked out of the room and you two were hiding from Wrecker. Then when there were subtle motifs, it was a slightly haunting presence which felt almost akin to a horror film. Then lastly, the references to Bracca and Fallen Order itself. They don't have to reference any of the Star Wars games, but it's a joy to spot them when they do. I don't have much else to say other than that, so go ahead and watch it for yourself if you haven't already. Next week's review will be the mid-season finale for the Bad Batch's first season, and boy is it quite the spectacle. So go out of your way to watch them both, and then check back here for my thoughts later on. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you have any thoughts for this episode, you know where to drop them. Just be polite. Leave a like on this, and subscribe for more content down the line, and until then everyone, take care, and may the Force be with you.